Hey everybody, Temple Crazed here. So we're gonna put this watch back together here. This is the watch for Stratton Classics off of Whatnot. He won a buyer's giveaway last Friday from me and got me his watch and everything. And I took it apart, found the issue. I will be ordering the part soon. I have found it, located it out of Germany. So Stratton, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but your watch is gonna be mine for a while. Nothing I can do. Anyway, before we get started, let's make sure we're commenting, rating, liking, subscribing, all those good things. That way we keep everything, happening for us, I guess. Yeah, sharing the good things. All right, well, let's get this thing started. Since it didn't record, I was able to actually find a manual for this just in case I needed it. So I got that, which is great. I mean, it's not a full manual, but it's enough just so I can keep going, figure out what's what. All right, here we go. Bloop. Okay, we're done. No. Got the first piece in, though. Now we're ready to rock. Now let's get that sub bridge in there. That sub bridge right. Hey, now don't. I got stuff in my way. I can't rest my arms where I want to. That's the one thing about watch repair. If you ever go and watch somebody working on a watch, they always got their arms resting somewhere. And I tell you what, there is a reason for it. Because, man, you get those arms resting just perfect, and you can actually do this weird work. Alright, we're going to get that set in there like so. Yep, okay. I'm going to put a little oil on that before we get too far into it here. In fact, right after I get these screws in, I'm going to drop some oil down in there so that, well, it gets covered up pretty quick and won't get any, then I wouldn't be able to get in there with the oil, so we'll make sure we get it real quick before we get in too far. Okay. Get the screwdriver here. There we go. I did keep these screws separate so that we made sure that we didn't get the wrong screws, because what will happen, even though the screw may look right, and I'm sorry if you can't see right now, but even if the screw looks like it's right, even if it's just a little bit longer, it can interfere with the other side of the dial. So you definitely want to make sure you get the right screws back in. That's one thing everybody always asks, is how do you know what screws go where? Well, some people just know. Myself, I try to keep everything separate so that I know exactly what goes where. But there we go. Screws are in. Now I'm going to get a little bit of oil out here. And that's the other thing I get asked all the time. Well, what kind of oil do you use? Hold on. Sorry about that. I just had to mute myself. So a lot of people use like Mobius, different Mobius oils and stuff, and that's great. I mean, they work good. They're great oils. I can't find my oiler. Where the heck is that now? I should have had that ready to go. Sorry about that. I'm just all over the place, I swear. Where did my oiler go? Like, I can't find either of them. Oh, here it is. It's not in the right spot, that's why. I use something called liquid bearing. It's kind of a universal. It's actually used more in the clock industry. But this stuff is so slippery that, and it's a synthetic. And so it doesn't dry out on you or anything. Look at that. Boom. Beautiful. So, that's what I use. Everybody uses their own little thing, whatever. I use like I said, I use this. To each their own, right? So, alright. Now, let's see here. So our barrel's going to go here. So let me grab that real quick. Out of here, I'm not going to put it in yet. I just want to make sure I got it in the right spot so that I can get to it and everything. And we're going to grab some of our train wheels here. I'm going to move my oil out of the way so I don't, put my hand into it. I've done that. I wouldn't recommend it, okay? We need the, here's the escape wheel. So, we are going to, let's see, I got to get this thing orientated. We're going to put this escape wheel in right here. Look at how shiny that thing is now. Whew. Blinding. Come on now. We just need to get this, there we go. Set right down into that pivot. It'll kind of just float around in there. Do its own thing. And next we'll get, okay, maybe we won't get the second wheel in. Jeez. Or, no, third wheel, sorry. But yeah, this goes right over here into that pivot. Alright. And then our next wheel that we're going to put in is one that holds the seconds hand. So we'll get that put in here next. So let's see, it goes right down through the center here. And this is why I said it's, if we didn't oil that right when we did, we wouldn't be able to get to it to oil it, right? So that's why we got it all oiled up right then and there. Alright, look at that. Alright, next I believe we are going to be putting on, we got to put in the barrel here, of course. Over here. Over here, Tempo. This is where our barrel goes. Come here. Fall in the hole. Oops, sorry. I'm trying to see it. You guys are trying to see it. It's all a thing. There we go. We got the barrel in there. Now we could put the barrel bridge on, which is a really weird looking little thing comparatively to what a normal barrel bridge would look like. But I did do some research here on this movement, and it is a bit odd. Alright. It was made in 1977, and it was only made, though, for 2 years. It was discontinued in 79, and the reason it was discontinued, okay, so again, it's a German movement. The reason it was discontinued is because it couldn't compete with the new quartz movements that were coming out. So in 79, it was discontinued. This is part of the PUW 600 series. So there was the 600 series, and then, like I said, this looks like it should be an auto movement too. Well, the 1660 and 1663 were actually auto movements built off of the same base. So yes, this watch can be a regular watch like this one, a regular wind-up, or an auto. I mean, technically, I could buy all the parts and make it an auto, but we're not going to do that because this case back won't support that. But yeah, that's a little bit of knowledge dropping for you. It's always good to know a little bit extra about the movement you're working on. So a little bit of knowledge goes a long ways, right? And so now I'm not even going to attempt to actually pronounce the name of this company that made this movement, though. Maybe somebody else in the comments wants to go look it up and try to pronounce it for, I don't know. It is a interesting name. PUW works for me. It's, let me see here if I can find that name again. Let's see, it's Forsheimer and Ricke? Something like that. There you go. Anyway, the description here says, and we are on 17joules.info. The info here says, in 1977, German PUW launched their final series of the mechanical movement, the Series 660, 1660. Although they were modern constructions, they offered all possible standard features. They had no chance to compete with the upcoming quartz movement, and so in 1977, the PUW stopped the production of the mechanical mechanism. So there you go. Now this one, of course, it says goes on to talk about it has the highest number of features of the wind-up varieties, and offers besides center seconds indication, which means that it didn't have a sub-seconds hand. It also included the date construction with the quick set mechanism. So that's really neat to know. A little bit of extra history on the on what's going on here with this mechanism. So, all right, well, let's continue our little path here of getting stuff back together. So now we have the train wheel bridge to put in. And the train wheel bridge for me is probably the most difficult part to put in of everything that I do. I can put the whole thing together usually no problem, but when I get to the, let's see, it goes this way, train wheel bridge that I just dropped, that's when I start really running into issues, because you gotta get, come on, you have to be able to get all these little pivots lined up on it, and that is no fun. And besides that, I also have this click that I gotta get lined up too now. So you set this down on here usually. Get over there. And then usually it's just a matter of I usually hold it on both sides, and then I'll move things around, try to move the wheels around until I can get them lined up in these pivots. And that's what we're shooting for. And once they're lined up, like that one just popped in, thankfully. Look at that, you see how that spins everything? That's what we want to see right there. Perfect. So now let's grab some screws. I'm going to keep holding down on that. I don't know if you guys saw that spinning, but I'll show you again here in a minute. But I'm going to keep holding down pressure on this bridge, because I don't want it to accidentally pop up and then I started screwing this down and we break a pivot. I have done that. It is no Gouda. But yeah, there, you see that? You see how that all spins? Nice and freely. Perfect. Hopefully you saw that time. I didn't even look. Great. This is more difficult than you think. I don't have the... I'm running off of a laptop, just so you know, with a second monitor, but the second monitor is way off to my right side, so I can't really see what you guys are seeing very easily. But here, I'll make sure. There we go. See how that moves and the escape wheel moves underneath? That's what you want to see. Alright, let's get that pallet fork in there. The pallet e-fork. And that sits right down in here. I've had a really bad luck with pallet forks lately. These jewels on the ends, they're held in with shellac, and the shellac will get warm or something, and then, or just get old and crumble away. It's no good. No good at all. Alright, let's see here now. So we get this little bridge all lined up here, and then what I like to do is kind of just give it a little tap down. I don't want to push hard. I want to make sure that these pivots are lined up right. And oh, they were. Now let's give it a tap, tap, tap. I'm going to pull that scope right down in there so we can get a good look at that pivot. I want to make sure that pivot's good and lined up, because you guys don't want to know what the cost of parts are. They can get very, very expensive very, very quickly. Okay, yep, that's all lined up in there. Perfect. Let's grab the screw for it. And I'll put that screw in probably off camera since we're down so low. I don't want to move this around again, but yeah, we are lined up. Drop that screw down in. So I've said this before in my other videos, you have to get used to using the tweezers as like extension of your hands. Just like doctors that use robots as extensions of their hands, same concept here. You got to get used to using the tweezers like an extension of your hand. So anyway, so that's the way this works, is the balance goes back and forth, that wheel, and it hits this pallet fork back and forth, and then this spins and it all goes that way. And it also comes this way. So when I go to oil this, I'll oil jewel, 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 jewel. I'm going to oil that jewel right now, and unfortunately I don't have a small enough oiler, so I got to try to be careful here. I don't want to over oil, but I'm going to oil that one right now so I don't forget. Because you don't need much. That's all you need right there. That's it. That is literally it. But that way I won't forget about it. Alright, I'm going to pause this, and then when I come back, you'll see I'll be kind of moved around a little bit here. Alright, so here we are on the dial side of the movement. And there is part of this that we can put back together, thankfully. Not all of it, but at least some of it we can get back together here. Because again, I usually like to have photos and stuff to do this, but again, the recording didn't work, so here we are. Alright, now, I don't actually have any photos of how this actually goes together, but I do remember when I took it apart how it came apart. So we have this R spring right here, and I like to call these flyaway springs because guess what? Yeah, they like to fly away. So I kind of always be careful too, because I've pushed this little seconds hand piece right there through my finger multiple times on watches. So always be careful with that. I'm going to try to use maybe this little spudger. You guys have seen this thing before. I want to try to hold this spring down while I'm doing this so that it doesn't actually go flying. I'd like to not have a flyaway on it. And then this part, this longer part here, we need to push this somehow. This is going to be interesting. Yeah. Sorry if I'm not talking. Come on. There we go. So that's what that does. That gives us tension on that. Alright. Yep. And it's around there. Good. Okay. Whew. Heart attack moment over. Okay. Next thing. There's another spring. A bigger one. Right there. That one goes up here. Oy, oy, oy. Now, of course, we have this one. I have this one little issue. I don't remember which way the yoke goes. So that'll be fun. But let's get out the pieces that go in there. Alright, let's see. Now, that goes here. We can set that in. That's fine. But I need to get the clutch mechanism out of here. Alright. So we'll just spin this. And you sit right about there. And you're like, well, what the heck holds that into place? Well, that would be your winding stem. Alright, come here, you. I need to get all of the clutch mechanism. There's two pieces to it. Ouch. One of the little pieces of metal that broke out of this watch actually just jumped up and bit me. Anyway. Now, so these sit like this together. Like here. But what I need to do is I need to dab in just a little bit of something there. I gotta get new grease, so I'm using some grease that's actually used in clock repair, unfortunately, right now. I gotta get some new stuff, but it works. It's just a lot thicker than what I would want. I've used this before. You guys have seen me use it. But for these little delicate pieces, I really would rather have something a lot thinner. Okay. And I'm just working off my pad. I prefer to work off of the this pad. But what this grease is going to do for us, two things. One, it's going to give us the friction resistance that we're going to need for this part. Okay. Two, though even more important for me right now, is it's going to hold those two pieces together for when I put it together in here. So this sits right in, well, not like that though. That is completely wrong. This sits in here like that. And now you can see how this lines up with that. Beautiful. Now, I am going to get a couple more little items out here before we get to this spring. I'm trying to be super careful because I don't want the flyaway spring that we already have in there to, well, you know, like we talked about, fly away. That would be very, very bad. I don't know if I have another R spring like that right now. Alright. This is our setting lever. This is actually what holds your, get back here, holds in the winding stem. I'm trying to get it lined up the way I want it so that I can set it into position, which it goes right into that spot right there. Boom. And it just sits in there for now. Alright. And then I am actually going to take the winding stem and I'm going to put the winding stem in. Just like so. Alright. Just like so. Alright. Just taking a quick look at the photos that I can find here, making sure everything's lined up the way it should be. Looks like, yeah, that should go like so. Is that right? Oh yeah. A lot of times the little tit on this thing is a lot further out, but it's a lot closer right now for this. I'll show you. It's got two of them. See the one closer to the main stem there? That's what locks this winding stem into place when everything's together. Now we just got to get back in the hole. There we go. There we are. Perfect. Or at least perfect enough for... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And there we go. Did you see that? We got lucky. The spring stayed. But that's how quick it can happen. That's how quick it can happen. And it just flew off again. There we go. We got it. Oh, that's literally one of them heart attack moments for me. Literally one of those heart attack moments. Also, I did just find that I do have this upside down. So we're going to flip that thing over. Because once we get that piece back in, we got to put this in. And it goes right across there. And then we got to put another spring in. Oh. Alright, well, let's start again. So, now you understand why this stuff can get so tedious. And why you have to have so much patience. Because we get to start all over again here with this spring thing again. Setting this R spring down into where it goes. Getting out some kind of a holder mechanism. I really should square this thing off. It'd probably hold a lot better. It's getting old. Maybe I should just buy a new one. That's probably a better idea. Nope, you stay there. Alright, come on. There we go. Make sure it's all pushed down in like it should be. Alright, we're back. We're back. Back in black. Alright, anyway. Better not sing that. We get a copyright strike. That'd be great. Let's see. Now this goes across here. Like so. Because this is what's going to move this part back and forth. And then we put that other spring goes in across here. This spring goes in there. Hoofda. All the springs, all the time. Hoofda. Now, I tell you what, that's one thing I do love about Seiko. And I know there's a few things that people love about Seiko, but Seiko actually incorporates their springs into a lot of their different parts. So they're actually tied into that part. The downside is if that spring breaks, you got to replace that whole part. But, you know, it does make it easier for the watchmaker to do this work. And as you noticed, I did put on my finger cots today. I'm going to hold this. Got to get this at the right spot. Alright. Now we're going to pull you up. And over. And just like that. Just like that. Alright, perfect. Now, there's a piece that goes on top of all this that will hold it in place at least until we get the new part in. So that is a good thing. Just got to figure out which way it sits. Just like that. Okay. This piece right here. And we do have a screw for that, so that'll hold it all in place. And keep everything, you know, from going flying away on us again. We don't need any more flyaways. And then we got our screw. Goes right here. So what I'll do here, since this isn't actually lined up, this piece here's got to be down further, because this is actually a spring too. I just get this screw started. I'll do this probably off camera a little bit here. I just need to get this screw started here. It is the downside to working on the pad. You kind of get off kilter and stuff a little bit, but I mean, for me, I've learned to deal with it. Alright, now we just pull that down so it clicks in. So this is what holds tension on this piece here on your setting lever, right? And here's the different indices when you're clicking back and forth between, you know, winding it and all that stuff. Whether you're, you know, if it's all the way down in, you're winding. I mean, it's not in the right position right now. It will be. We'll get it set here in a second as soon as we get this screw tightened down here all the way. Okay. That way things can't go flying on us, but anyway. We just need to get the come here, you. There we go. That should be. Yep, that's in. That's winding the watch. So if we flip it over here, we can see that's putting wind on the watch. I gotta see here. Hopefully we got that click lined up. We did. It's down there. I can see it clicking. Kind of. It is clicking. It's just, it's a really weird click. It kind of lets things go back a little bit here. I mean, it's meant for, you know, for like, yeah, because if I go ahead and I hold this wheel here so it can't go back, and I give it a good wind, it doesn't unwind all the way. The other thing we can check, it's made for the automatic movement is what I'm trying to say. And get that spit out here. Now what we're going to check here is you see the pallet fork here, we're going to actually get down in there close again and look closely at that pallet fork. Okay. Let's pull this microscope in nice and close. Here we go. And I'm going to use the tip of the oiler for this. So I got some Rodico here, which is just a watchmaker's silly putty basically. And what we're going to do is, since I cleaned that tip off, what I'm going to do here, you can see some Rodico on there. Let's see if we can get that off of there. Okay. I'm just going to tap this side. And what we really need to see is we need to see this thing jump. Come on. I mean, we don't have... Nope, we're not going yet. We don't have any oil either on this thing, so... Except for this pallet fork. Alright, well... Maybe that click is not quite right. Let's see here. Actually, let's pull that microscope back down in so I can see that better. It's a weird click. It's not one that I've worked with before. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. Why are you not getting any power? Because that should be... I should be winding our thingy. Sorry about all the movement. I'm trying to actually hold the... I want to get this click. I want to push it over. Okay. I gotta get the scope out of my way. What I'm trying to do here is, I'll show you. I'm trying to get... This takes multiple fingers and hands and everything else. So let's move this gear out of our way again. Thank you. Alright. I'm trying to move this till I get the click over here. And then I want to hold it. And see... Oh, there we go. It did have power in it. Look at that. Okay. So I think maybe it's just that it doesn't have any oil in it yet. Okay. Okay. I'm happy now. See, these are all these tests that we have to do as watchmakers to make sure things are going the way that we need them to go. So I'm gonna pause it for a second. I'm gonna put a good wind into this thing, and then we'll be back. All right. Well, it's not jumping the way I'd like it to, and I'm gonna take some parts back apart here in a little while and look at it closer. But it is, when I move the pallet fork here. Well, it was moving correctly. When I'd move this pallet fork, it was jumping. Why you decide not to jump now? It's really stiff. I don't know what. There we go. I think a lot of it is it doesn't have any oil in it. I think the parts are just not gonna do what I need them to do. Anyway, I need to pull this barrel back out and take a closer look at it. I took it apart and stuff, but now it's not, something's not feeling right on it. If I have to replace the mainspring, I got to replace the mainspring. Not a big deal. But anyway, I've got as far as we can on this watch now. I can't put the rest of it together because, I mean, we could put this in and this in and this and this in, but this is the wheel that's broken that we can't put in, so it doesn't do me a whole heck of a lot of good. But now that we're at this point, we can see here's where we go, and that's goes up to here for your quick set. And then when we pull that out further, that would go down here and engage that little wheel that was there and all the way across to set the watch. So there we go. That's what we have. I'm going to leave it off there. Now you guys have seen me reassemble this watch mostly. Once the new part comes, we'll finish the reassembly. We'll do a part 2 to that. And you get to see me reassemble this watch completely and do the testing and everything, make sure everything works on it and stuff. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody. Stratton, I hope you enjoyed this if you took a look at it. Sorry it's going to take a while. I got to get the part from Germany. Unless I can find another movement laying around somewhere. I'm going to talk to a couple friends in the watch community and see if they have one of these movements. Otherwise, please make sure that you're subscribing, you're commenting, you're sharing, you're liking, all those good things. And I will catch you next time.